State's Democratic governor and attorney general are suing to stop the law passed in 1849 from going into effect. It would essentially ban abortion in every case except when the mother's life is at risk. And you can imagine the conversations that will happen. Let's see. She's bleeding out. She's septic. Do you think her life is at risk? Let's hold a board meeting. I mean, are you kidding me? Yesterday, a circuit court judge heard arguments in an attempt to stop that lawsuit from moving forward. Wisconsin Republicans say the law should take effect in the wake of the Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade. Joining us now, Wisconsin Attorney General Josh Kaul. We thank you very much for being on the show this morning. What do you plan to do in light of the legislation right now?
Well, thanks for having me. We are challenging the enforceability of that 1849 criminal abortion ban in court right now. We filed suit 4 days after the Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade. We knew this statute was on the books and that some people would argue that it should be enforced. But there are a number of laws that passed after Roe v. Wade that regulate lawful abortion. And so we've gone to court to fight to stop that 1849 ban from effectively eliminating almost all abortions in the state of Wisconsin.
Andrew Mitchell.
And General Kaul, what is the health care that's available to women in Wisconsin? You know, how good is the health care there? And what will be the impact of the Supreme Court, which now, you know, has that one vote majority?
Well, we've been impacted significantly by the overturning of Roe v. Wade. The Planned Parenthood locations in Wisconsin that used to provide abortion care have stopped providing that care. And so, as you talked about in the intro here, we are limited to people getting abortions only in the case when it's necessary to save the life of the mother. And as you talked about, it's not always clear to doctors when that is. And this has put the health of women in Wisconsin in serious risk. So we've got some people who leave the state to obtain abortion care. But this is also impacting people's lives in a variety of other ways. There are people who are concerned about getting pregnant because they don't know what will happen if they do have a complication that would require intervention from a doctor. I think it's going to impact OBGYNs remaining in the state and coming to the state. That's why we're fighting so hard to overturn this ban so we can restore access to safe and legal abortion.
Mr. Attorney General, as you just outlined, an extraordinary impact here on the women of Wisconsin. But tell us a little more about the consequences that doctors could face, what they will be up against because of this law and ramifications for their own lives and practices.
Doctors are facing potential felony prosecutions under this law if they perform abortions and a prosecutor decides that it doesn't comply with the law. One of the groups of people we've heard a lot from are doctors who talk about how this is interfering with their ability to provide care to their patients. They talk about how if they need to intervene, they often have to go talk to a lawyer before they can provide the medical procedure that's needed for their patients. That's not the kind of medicine we should be practicing. And again, it's not safe for women in Wisconsin.
Wisconsin Attorney General Josh Kaul, thank you very much for being on the show this morning, and we will be following this.
Jonathan Capehart, it was not too long ago that Republicans in a lot of districts felt like they had the advantage on guns and abortion because Democrats were taking positions that seemed to be out of the mainstream. That's certainly how it felt on the House floor whenever these issues would come up. It's changed radically over the past several years. Now, it really seems like Democrats are with Middle America on both of those issues. Republicans here in Wisconsin, just clueless. They knew a Supreme Court election was coming up, and they kept an 1849 abortion ban on the books when even the Wall Street Journal said they could have changed it. They could have helped themselves. But these Trump Republicans their feet are in political cement, and they just keep losing.
Well, it seems like since the Dobbs decision, the states, Republicans in the states have basically said, excuse me, hold my beer.
Right.
Great. Abortion has been deemed unconstitutional, so we're just going to go even more extreme. Folks should have known since the Dobbs, what we now know as the Dobbs decision, the draft of the opinion had leaked, and the warning signs that were there about what could happen to Roe. Then the decision comes out, and I think Democrats were like, well, thank you for this political gift, but they didn't realize how much of a gift that decision was.
Kansas, Wisconsin.
That's exactly where I was going.
Kentucky.
Right. And so Republicans who for decades used abortion as this thing to raise money, to get votes, suddenly Republicans in the country saw what happened, like, hold up. No. This is not what we want. Wait a minute. This is holy. Well, it's in the morning. I was about to curse. I'm not Joe, so I can't.
Well, no,
I
you
can't
shouldn't.
curse. But I can't believe that Republicans are going down this road in all these states, despite what happened in Kansas, despite what's been happening around the country. Do they not see?
Read the room.
Well,
Right.
by the
Read the
way,
Nation.
you even have the Wall Street Journal editorial page and Ann Coulter saying,
Ann Coulter is
what's
saying, what are
wrong
you doing?
with you
Stop this.
people?
Stop
You
this
are
now."
going to lose
Exactly.
every election.
And Donald Trump, really. I mean, you know, he's like, what is like all this going on? Because they realize that, this is a loser right now for Republicans.